Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. This is part two of chapter one of William Walker Atkinson's book, Thought Vibration. Let's go ahead and continue. We started chapter one last video, and I'm excited to dive in and finish chapter one. So, again, this is William Walker Atkinson's book, Thought Vibration. I'm going to be reading from the screen. We started chapter one, The Law of Attraction in the Thought World. So we are finishing chapter one today together. It'll be a short one. I am on a bit of a staycation. I just got in from the beach and I have this big, nice robe on, if you can't tell. All right, let's continue on. We left off where it said, we are sending out thoughts of greater or lesser intensity all the time. And if you missed the previous reading, again, all of the readings are on the playlists. But let's hop up a couple paragraphs. He was saying that we send out vibrations. Thoughts are vibrations. They are truly powerful things because every single thing in this physical universe is vibrating. It's energy vibrating very, very fast. Some of it becomes matter when it is focused on and given energy, attention, and focus. It becomes matter. But the energy that is just potential is always there. But once we give it energy, attention, and focus, it becomes solid form. It becomes manifested. It becomes a thing. So, for example, usually I hold up my phone and I say, this iPhone was an idea in someone's mind. And the brilliant, Steve Jobs and all the minds behind making that iPhone that we hold in our hands possible, or this computer, right? It's a physical object. This microphone, right? These were ideas in someone's mind. And they thought of this. They kept thinking about it, whatever the item is. And they gave it energy, attention, and focus. And steps were taken, right? Because to bring something into the manifested form, action is required. Yes, we first must assume the vibration and get that thought, the energy behind it, be the energy, embody the energy, and then take the actions, the inspired action, the right next step to bring it into physical form or have the people delegate it, right? Make somebody else make it happen. But I always hold that iPhone and I say, the potential of this iPhone has been around since the beginning of time, since the Big Bang. Jesus could have had an iPhone. Every single thing that the iPhone is made out of, glass, metal, all the parts, the little everything, the electricity, the signals, frequencies in the air have always been on this planet. But the need and the thought was not there back 2,000 years ago. But somebody in our day and age thought of it, put attention, energy, and focus behind it, and brought it into physical manifested form. And we're all using our smartphones or our computers, right? So William Walker Atkinson was telling us that just because we can't see with or hear or smell or taste or touch with our five physical senses, something that hasn't yet manifested, even if it's just a thought, we can't yet see it. It hasn't appeared in our physical world. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It does exist, but in an energetic form as of now. But when we give it energy, attention, and focus, and we take action behind it, that's when it starts to become particle, matter, physical thing that we do see with our eyeballs. And so I was talking about the double slit experiment, how basically, again, I'm not a physicist. I wouldn't even know how to explain it, but I get the concept of there was this experiment that they did where they realized that waves, potentiality waves of energy, acted different when they were being observed. When they were observed, it became a particle. When they looked away, it went back to being a wave. And when they looked, it became a particle. That's like our life. So every single thing that's solid in our life, the results, the tangible results in our 3D world, they are particles, they are manifested, they are here. Why? Because we were focused on them. Good and bad. Good and bad, my friends. It brings us a lot of freedom and it brings me a lot of hope, to be honest, like especially when no matter how it's an iterative process, we will always continue to grow. New level, new devil. And so if we don't get the basics down and understand that this is just the duality of life, that when we rise to a new occasion, a new version of us will have to be birthed. We can never rest on our laurels. We see some people do that and, whatever, but it never ends well. So when we are trying to manifest something new in our physical life, new particles, new matter, we have to think about the potential. It's not, it hasn't exist, it doesn't exist yet. It's not in this physical. You couldn't show me a picture of it. It doesn't exist yet. It's just an idea. Carla, I really want this apartment. I really want this car. Let's say you really want a car. And it's just an idea in your mind. It's not in your driveway, but it's a potential. If you can think it, it's a potential. And the process is different. But if you want to speed it up, it's law that whatever you give the most attention, energy, and focus, it's like heat. You're putting heat. If you want a pot to boil, you turn up the heat. Well, what's our version of heat? It's our emotions, it's our vibration, it's our energy. When someone's obsessed with something, we see it all the time for the negative in our lives. Or people who have very nefarious, evil, like burglars. Oh my God, drug dealers, they have burning desires. They need money, they need to be fed, they need to get their next hit. As a former addict, thank God I'm almost 7 years sober now, but nothing could stop me from getting my drink. Nothing. Like it's laughable. And it's sad because I used to think, oh my God, I'm not a disciplined person. I can't make things happen. Yes, I could, but my attention and my energy and my focus was towards very negative, destructive patterns. So think about things in your life that you really want. If you have certain addictions like sugar or fast food or, even if it's sex or pornography, it's like it takes the tap of the button these days to order food or to get whatever we want on our screens. And so it's an instant manifestation. And we usually stay in those low cost, easy, low hanging fruit manifestations because it gives us some sense of power, especially when we are feeling defeated for the bigger things in life. So back to the car. Okay. The car in your driveway, it's a potentiality because you can think about it. And it's a wave, it's energy, it's potential, right? And it hasn't appeared yet because you're focused on what you don't have or whatever, but you're like, Carla, I really want this car. So you start to look at it. That wave, keep looking at it every day, keep thinking about it every day. It'll start becoming a form. You will be led each step of the way to turn this thought vibration into a particle, this wave of potentiality into an actual physical particle, right? And so that's kind of what we were talking about on last time, the last video. All right. So he goes on to say, we are sending out thoughts of greater or less intensity all the time. And we are reaping the results of such thoughts. Not only do our thoughts have thought waves influence ourselves and others, but they have a drawing power. They attract to us the thoughts of others, things, circumstances, people, luck, in accord with the character of the thought uppermost in our minds. We read this. This is the last paragraph I think we read. So he's saying, whatever thought waves we put out not only influences us, but the people around us, and it also works as a magnet to attract because our vibration, our thoughts, our vibration, our emotions, our feeling, because our thoughts creates feelings and emotions. It creates energy in our body. That's what we call our emotions or our feelings. That's what attracts to us. Our thoughts do not attract. The thoughts we get emotionally involved with and focus on is what attracts. So we don't have to work at the law of vibration. I'm sorry, we don't have to work at the law of attraction. That happens automatically. All we have to focus on is our vibration. Well, what dictates our vibration? Our thoughts, the thoughts we're focused on. So he's saying that they attract other things, people, circumstances, luck that match the thoughts that we are focused on mostly. All right. He says thoughts of love will attract love, thoughts of negativity will attract negativity, all this jazz. Like attracts like in the thought world. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. Birds of a feather flock together in the thought world. Curses, like chickens, come home to roost and bring their friends with them. That's where we left off. The man or woman who is filled with love sees love on all sides and attracts the love of others. The man with hate in his heart gets all the hate he can stand. The man who thinks fight generally runs up against all the fight he wants before he gets through. Before he gets through. And so it goes. Each gets what he calls for over the wireless telegraphy of the mind. It's hyphenated. Telegraphy, like the telegraph, right? So think about every thought you have as a telegraph, a telegram. Ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boop. It's like we are always telegramming the universe. This is what I want. This is what I want. We don't think that. But the universe doesn't know if we want it or we don't. It just knows what we're putting out and it is going to give more to us of that. It's like the algorithm. Have you ever searched for something for like a friend? Oh my God, I did this. It's interesting. I remember when I was in grad school for my psychology degree and I had to look up a lot of things. And it would start to give me more of that. I'm like, oh Lord, like it's picking up on what I'm searching. Like it's always listening, our, technology these days. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm into. I was just looking up something, right? And so if you've ever looked up something like, for an example, like I remember one Christmas we were like trying to look up how to make tamales, and my Google search kept giving me all the recipes and restaurants for tamales. And I was like, okay, relax. I just wanted to look up how you make them. Is it the masa? I don't know how to say it. But anyways, so whatever you telegram, boop, 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 every thought is a telegram to the universe. And you will get more of that. So it's not like one-off thoughts or thoughts that are just pass through our mind. It's the thoughts that we get emotionally involved with that are taking all of our energy, attention, and focus. Okay. Let me make sure. Okay. So it says, as so it goes, each of us gets what we call for over this wireless telegram system of the mind. The man who rises in the morning feeling grumpy usually manages to have the whole family in the same mood before breakfast is over. The nagging woman generally finds enough to gratify her nagging propensity during the day. So it's like if you're looking for problems, you're going to find them. If you're looking for something to complain over, you're going to find it. If you're looking for something to be offended by, oh, you'll be offended because that is all your mind is scanning for evidence, for what you're expecting. Never expect what you don't want and don't ever want what you don't expect because you get what you expect. All right. The matter of thought attraction is a serious one, period. That's a whole sentence. This matter of thought attraction is a serious one. When you stop to think of it, you will see that a man really makes his own surroundings, although he blames others for it. I'm guilty of that. I'm better now. I have known people who understood this law to hold a positive, calm thought and be absolutely unaffected by the inharmony surrounding them. They were like the vessel from which the oil had been poured on the troubled waters. They rested safely and calmly whilst the tempest raged around them. One is not at the mercy of the fitful storm of thought after he has learned the workings of the law. This is so important because really there is no reality. This is just a mirror. Reality is within. We are either in heaven or hell within. We are either in a happy or an unhappy state within. We think it's happening outside. I'm unhappy because of this. I'm happy because of this. I'm unhappy because of this. This brings me joy. This brings me anger. This is just a reflection. It's here first. So he's saying when we understand the law, the workings of the law of thought, there can be storms a raging, people acting a fool, family members, coworkers, ding dongs on the freeway. You can remain unmoved. You can remain at a place of peace. It does not mean you're not normal and you don't call the police when someone's acting up. It's not to bypass or to ignore, be like, ah, I'm a foofy woo woo, like I'm, Pollyanna over here. I don't get distracted. No, it's like if there is a drunk driver on the freeway swerving, I will remain unmoved and I will also call 911, right? So he's saying that one is not at the mercy of fitful storms of even thoughts in your mind. Okay, so that was an outside example of don't be moved by the things that are happening. But even when your mind starts racing, anybody, I certainly, today even, oh Lord, that part of me gave me a run for my money because things are changing in a good way. Um, because I do this work all the time and I'm realizing, wow, like there is no end to our growth. There's no end to my next level. And I love that. It's like being an athlete of the mind. It's like, wow, okay, what can I achieve next? But with that comes discomfort, getting out of my comfort zone, growing, stretching, doing things I've never done before, getting really scared. And there's that voice. ooh, the storms of thought start to brew. But I remain unmoved. I remain calm because I rest in the peace that I'm going to be okay no matter what. I am not going to let those thoughts like that inner devil, as Napoleon Hill talks about, out with the inner devil. It won't, it's not going to get to me. Has it before? Sure. But for me, I always share, like even on this channel, I do my Course in Miracles. I, and that is so important. And I just heard somebody else talk about, maybe it was Mel Robbins. Who was it? No, it was somebody else. They were just saying that you don't have to do this alone. Not, trust me, I grew up with some religious trauma from other family members, not my own religion, to be honest. But it doesn't have to be religious. If it is, great. But to have a higher power, it doesn't have to be God. I call it God. But having a higher power within, an anchor within, it can be an ancestor, a grandparent, somebody that you really love, just an anchor, a spirit guide, an angel, whatever. Having a higher power makes all the difference in the world, especially when, like in sobriety, to have a higher power. I remember in some groups, people's higher powers was Mother Nature, it was trees, it was the ocean. Most people, it was God in whatever, denomination however they saw God. But to know that you have an anchor within that is built on like rock. No matter what happens, you can count on that, surrender, and know that there's something greater than you, like a higher power taking care of you. Because without that, I just have personally never seen it, nor have anybody that I know and respect get through life. And I think that me on this channel years ago, I think I was looking up like Googling live, like truly successful people, happy, successful people who are like atheists. Maybe there is some, but without a higher power. I don't know. If you know of one, put it in the comments. I would love to hear. All right. So he's saying, let's see, hold on, let me look at this real quick. All right. Just one little paragraph more, and we'll be done with chapter one. So he's saying the law of attraction, the thought attraction is a very serious one. When you stop to think of it, you will see that a man really makes his own surroundings, although he blames others for it. I have known people who understood this law to hold a positive, calm thought and be absolutely unaffected by the inharmony surrounding them. They were like the vessel from which the oil had been poured on the troubled waters. They rested safely and calmly whilst the tempest raged outside around them. One is in the One is not at the mercy of the fitful storms of thought after he has learned the workings of the law. We have passed through the age of physical force on to the age of intellectual supremacy and and are now entering a new and almost unknown field, that of psychic power. This field has its established laws, and we should acquaint ourselves with them, or we will be crowded to the wall, as are the ignorant on the plains of effort. I will endeavor to make plain to you the great underlying principles of this new field of energy, which is opening up before us, that you may be able to make sense of this great power and apply it for legitimate and worthy purposes, just as men are using steam, electricity, and other forms of energy today. So, this book, he's going to go on to tell us how to use this law more efficiently. But this was, again, written in 1906, so over 100 years ago. And we have definitely seen it take center stage, right? Using the psychic, energetic power of thought, the law of attraction, manifestation, all these things that are gaining in popularity again, because I think this is nothing new, but it's maybe new to our generation and our age in the past few hundred years. So, yeah, this is stuff that we all know. We can't hear it enough because we are forced into logic and what we can see. We're obsessed with the physical world because it doesn't take any, faith to see what is in front of our eyeballs. But if we want to manifest something new, if we want to create something new, new possibilities, we have to give our energy, attention, and focus using that power of the will, our ability to focus on one thing. have a magnificent obsession, a burning hot desire, burning hot desire. Get obsessive with it in the best way because we are obsessive about a lot of things, but usually negative things, things that scare us. All right, so we will continue chapter 2, my friends, thought waves and their process of reproduction. We'll do that tomorrow. I'll try to hop on tomorrow and do this. Yeah, I got some good feedback. I'm glad you guys are excited about reading this book. Again, we are reading William Walker Atkinson, Thought Vibration, and that is part 2 of chapter 1. So we've already completed a chapter together. There are, let's see how many chapters. There are 16 chapters in this book, and they're pretty short, so I'll probably be able to do a chapter a video. But again, if you missed any of the previous readings of this, well, there was only one reading of this, but other books we've read, The Science of Getting Rich, we just finished that. That was our second time around. I did it a few years ago. There's a lot of Neville Goddard on my channel, Napoleon Hill, of course. Let's see, Dr. Joseph Murphy. I did a little bit of The Power of the Subconscious Mind, Psychocybernetics, Maxwell Maltz. I need to do more of that. And then Elsie Lincoln Benedict, How to Get Anything You Want. That was 94 videos. That was epic, y'all. And of course, I do some readings of A Course in Miracles. That's my spiritual development. That is my anchor. That is my emotional and spiritual sobriety. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think. I look forward to continuing this with you. I will see you next time.